Dude, I'm in his room right now. This is crazy, guys. Look at all these ants. Look at all these guys. I found this box. Look at this. Look at all the ants. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at these freaking ants, yo. She's got so much brood. What the heck? I'm totally taking this for myself. I'm totally taking this. Guys, I gotta get the heck out of here. He's gonna find me.
Who's in here?
So I've broken into your house.
How'd you get in, dude?
Long story short, key under the doormat type shit,
Yeah.
It's okay. But now that I'm here, I feel like we could take this opportunity to kind of understand, I'm going to take this opportunity at least, to understand what the heck is Stateside Ants? Like, what do you do here? You sell
want
ants, right?
Myrmecystis or something? No.
I mean, maybe after the video we talk about some Myrmecystis, but...
Whoa.
But you sell the ants. That's what you do.
I sell the ants.
Yeah.
I sell good ants. I sell live ants. I sell healthy ants.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the concept behind America's Ant Shop. But I do want to ask you kind of specifically because, there's some other ant shops out there. We all kind of know about them. Mm-hmm. We know what's going on, and so I think I want the people that are watching this to understand, because I work with you for a reason.
Yep.
And I know what that reason is, but they don't. So, I want you to walk me through when someone places an order on statesideants.com and they say, I want this ant species. And then you go into your little room back there and you pick out a test tube. What does that process look like?
Well, first of all, it's a mighty room. Okay, it's a mighty facility, you could actually say.
One could say that.
But yeah, we when we pick out a colony, we're really looking for the colony to have lots of brood. We're looking for the colony to be in a clean test tube, and if they're not, we move them to a clean test tube. I really think like if I was going to give this colony to my friend, like beginner or experienced, would I think that they'd do good once I give them the colony? And that's how I'd make my decision, really.
Well, yeah, and I want to go off of that beginner to the beginner part as well, because you, I know, deal with a lot of first-time customers.
Lots.
You're growing pretty quickly, and, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say a vast majority of your orders are first-time orderers.
For sure.
And so a lot of those people, not only it's the first time ordering from you, but this is their first ant colony. And so, you have a pretty big responsibility as their introduction to the hobby of keeping ants.
So when they open the box, the first thing they're going to see is our business card and a QR code to a tutorial. Now that QR code, it leads to a page on our website, basically detailing how you can keep an ant colony. So if they weren't able to find that page when they were browsing the website, it's the first thing they see when they open the box. And that, combined with them having a colony that's ready to go, ready to thrive, if they do all the care exercises and stuff like that correctly, they should have huge success.
Yeah, I think so too. It's definitely a valuable resource to have a sort of tutorial, because not everyone is familiar with ant keeping. But so not only do you have all these permits for all these states, but then you need to make sure that you're actually supplying species to send to all of these states. And so, you work with distributors from all over the country. Do you think that you actually do a good job at maintaining a wide species list to send to all of the states? Do you think in that room there, someone from any U.S. state could pick something out?
Yeah, man. I really, I got to give credit to all my suppliers for that one. It's Stateside Ants wouldn't exist and wouldn't be sort of the all-encompassing ant shop that it is right now if it wasn't for countless ant keepers all over the U.S. sending in ants. I collect a lot of ants, but I can like one person can only do so much. So yeah, that was one of the gaps that we aimed to fill when we started Stateside Ants. Was we wanted to be able to send ants to somebody, whether they're from Washington or Florida or Minnesota, California, New York, Nebraska, wherever you are in the country. We want to aim to always have a good selection of species for you, because unfortunately the USDA only allows some species to go to certain states, so that's not up to us. We get a lot of questions about that. That's not our choice. That's just us following the law.
Yeah, and so I think as if you are someone that's looking to purchase an ant colony, it's important to make sure that you're doing everything as you're supposed to. And a good way to do that is by going with someone, a supplier that you know is doing things the right way, whether that's right way legally or just the right way ethically, sourcing healthy colonies, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of things that are done correctly here at Stateside Ants compared to some competitors. And to go into that, I did kind of want to ask you about what made you start Stateside Ants, because I kind of have an idea, but I want to get some more details.
Yeah, well, it was there when we started, and almost still right now to an extent, there aren't many ant shops that will combine all of the qualities of all the ant shops into one, right? So we've got these ant shops that do really well with having good ants, but they only have that for, like the Southeast United States, for example, or, there's ant shops that operate illegally and they send you terrible ants, which is, we're not going to name names here, but like there are shops that do that, and they prey on new keepers. They prey on people that don't know any better, just try to get every dollar out of the hobby without, and people that buy those ants, they don't tend to come back after they fail the first time, which usually isn't their fault. And that as well of just like a general gap in availability across the country. People in Minnesota, for example, Minnesota, North Dakota, there weren't many options in those states. We try to make sure every state has at least a couple species to choose from year-round. We're trying to maintain a year-round stock, so it doesn't matter if it's January or July, you should be able to get an ant colony.
And that's, again, another credit to your suppliers, because
Correct.
In some of these northern states, you're based here in the great state of Wisconsin, it can be difficult for much of the year to go out and source ants for yourself. But
Right.
if you can get
to
people...
stock up during the summer, and that's why it's when those people go out and catch hundreds of queens. I pay them hundreds or thousands of dollars, and then I sell that retail to customers like yourselves over a long period of time, usually a year. We aim for a year. We aim to have the species in stock all year long.
Yeah, and part of that, too, that I am interested in is there are other sellers who have a similar concept where they try to stretch out their stock for as long as possible. But a big way that they do it is by neglecting their colonies to keep them small, have it so people could purchase a colony that can fit into a small test tube all year. And that's something that you are really opposed to, isn't it?
Yeah, so we will do our best to make sure that when we send the ants to you, they can fit in a test tube or multiple test tubes. But really the process of keeping them and how healthy they are is different from anybody else. We'll make sure they always have brood year-round. There's people that have, it's ridiculous, they've received colonies that's a queen, one worker, and no eggs or no brood. It's like, yeah, I don't even know if I could save that colony, let alone a new keeper. So why should anybody ever be sending that colony out? That's ridiculous to me. So we always, like, it's not unreasonable for us to have colonies like that, but the difference is those aren't getting sent out to customers. Those aren't in stock. They're in rehab to maybe eventually be in stock, but...
Yeah, well, and that's part of where you said other shops will... And a big customer base that's buying from these shops are first-time keepers. Many of you watching are interested in the hobby of ant keeping and don't know where to start. And so it's so important for these distributors to make sure that when you're sending a colony out, that the person that's receiving them is going to have the best chance at success,
As if it was my friend. Yeah.
and that they're going to want to keep coming back to the hobby. Maybe go out and start collecting ants on their own. Maybe come back to you. And I think that that's just by far the best thing to do is make sure that people are introduced to ant keeping in the best way possible. And that's something
Right.
that I haven't really seen from any other ant shop done as well as in Stateside Ants.
Thank you.
And that's why I broke into your facility today.
Oh man, you didn't take anything, did you?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
USDA doesn't like that.
Yeah, I think I'd get in a little too much trouble if I
Yeah.
tried that. As much as tempting as some of those honeypot ant colonies were,
Yeah.
I know that that the USDA can be a little scary sometimes. So no,
They'll
there's
stay in the room.
yeah, there's no honeypot ant colonies hidden in my pockets or elsewhere. They're very much left in your ant room.
Sounds good.
Yeah, totally.
Where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, this guy will sit and feed ants for 6 hours.
Oh yeah.
And you do spend a lot of time. Like, this is a big time investment that you do to make sure that these colonies are healthy.
Yeah. I mean, we won't discuss exactly how we feed them, but you'll see when you receive your colony. You will see they've been growing brood. They're in a clean test tube. You know, it's a colony that's on track to growing very well. And if you don't believe me, you can ask people that have bought from me.
And
It's not something I take lightly. I don't like sending people bad colonies. I don't like sending people bad anything.
well, and speaking of talking to people who have received colonies, you don't have to be in any, ant keeping community forums or Discord servers or anything like that to see the dozens or hundreds now of reviews, 5-star reviews all over statesideants.com. This is not something that is a mystery. This is not something where you're going to get anxiety when you're buying. Am I going to get something good or am I going to get screwed? You can take his word. You can sit here and listen to him and me talk about how, these colonies are so healthy. And I'm showing you video of mountains of brood in these colonies. And you can sit there and believe us, or you can go to statesideants.com and see 5-star review after 5-star review after 5-star review of people who have bought their ant colonies and loved them because they are healthy, they're well taken care of.
And I just want to say, if for some reason you receive a colony that isn't healthy and isn't well taken care of, or your ants don't arrive alive, you can reach out to us and we'll gladly replace them.
Yeah, shipping can be a hassle sometimes. Ants can eat brood in shipping, ants can die in shipping. And so that is also not something that you have to worry about as a stateside ants.
You're guaranteed, even if the queens seem to die sometime after you receive them and it's just a random death, based on the situation, oftentimes we'll say, yeah, that probably wasn't your fault. We'll get you a new one.
Yeah, because, I mean, from the bottom, from the beginning, you want to do things right. You want to give people a good introduction to the hobby of ant keeping.
Yeah, there's no reason not to send another queen ant.
Right? Well, and I think to kind of end this off, like, ant keeping has changed both of our lives.
Oh yeah.
These little insects have done dramatic change for both of us. And so being able to pass that on to other people, like, must feel amazing.
I love it. Yeah, I love what I'm doing. I'm not done doing it. I'm here to stay, and I appreciate everybody that buys from Stateside Ants. I really do.
Yeah.
I appreciate it a ton, and I hope you guys get the value you thought you would get.
So with that, I'm totally not going to go and, grab a couple of honeypot ant colonies or anything.
That would be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous. I mean,
How'd you get in here?
I have my ways. I'm a little sneaky guy.
Okay, dude.
I can figure things out. Yeah, I can figure my way around.